Hi everybody, welcome back to I found it. Rogue Trader. The Void Shadows DLC. We've just left our bed chambers from an evening of passion with Cabela, which was completely unexpected. With by surprise. The previous episode is uploading in the background. So, and walked out the bedchamber and I found the Master of Ablutions. There's no doors here. She was probably having a peek all night. Dirty beggar. Anyway, let's talk to the Master of Ablutions. Ugh, what's going on? Would you like to take a bath, your lordship? Perform your ablutions. Oh, that's right, I did a completely random haircut and everything from, didn't I? Got this weird bullshit haircut, like a monk kind of thing. What's it called? Toroid? No. What's it called? Torsion? The soothing water caresses your senses. Your grateful muscles welcome the chance to rest. A pleasant languor spreads through your body as you allow yourself a moment of quiet relaxation. Relax and close your eyes. Tension slowly retreats as you bring yourself to complete stillness, joint by joint, muscle by muscle, pore by pore. Before long, you've surrendered the bastion of your body to the bliss of oblivion. Troubles, worries, loss, such things do not belong in this newly established dominion of tranquility. They're only the infinite waters of weightlessness, in which, stripped of all things superficial, the mind of Jellybobs von Valancius drifts in silent bliss. Is that a conscious mind? What fills this consciousness? Oh, nice. Thoughts about the price paid for power, the inconstant paths through which such power is obtained, the people and things he will sacrifice for the sake of his supremacy. +3. That's shit. The cost of power is great, but when it comes to accomplishing one's dreams, no price is too high. The moment of serenity soon fades, the body reclaims the mind, binding it once more to the familiar shell of flesh, sinew and bone. Okay. Do I still have a... Oh, I do have a big image. Okay. Address the Master of Ablutions. I wish to see someone from my retinue. Which of them would you like me to summon, your lordship? Oh dear. Argenta, let's see about of armour. I wish to know what the Sisters of Battle do in their spare time. At once. She says something. Jellybobs, are you conditioning your body with water treatments? How commendable. Allow me to share some of your water exercises. I learned at the Scholar Progenium, which is like a orphanage. Look at her doing their stretches. Argenta does not wait for reply, but immediately launches into a series of detailed instructions. We've got to try to resist her captivating presence. Perfect. Argenta briskly explains how to stretch your muscles correctly. She makes you repeat each exercise multiple times as she teaches you the best way to do bends and squats. Her eyes are alight with righteous fire and her voice rings out with each conviction. She shows the same dedication to completing each exercise as she does to destroying heretics. Oh wow. Didn't have much of a chance. I only just succeeded. The sister is tireless. It is a challenge to keep up with her unrelenting pace, but you refuse to accept defeat. Your muscles are starting to ache by the time you finish the exercises, but your body feels invigorated. Argenta wipes the sweat off from her brow with an air of satisfaction. Good work, Jellybobs. A healthy body is like a finely tuned bolter, a worthy instrument of his will. I'll take my leave now. Rest and recover your strength. Excellent. Do I get a buff for that? You're alone once more. The Master of Ablutions stands at the ready, patiently awaiting your command. Let's finish my ablutions. Maybe do a different person each day. You feel revitalized. The truly was an experience worthy of a rogue trader. Oh, got a buff. Well-deserved rest. The character will have a higher initiative in the next combat. It's a one-time bonus that disappears after the combat ends. You feel thoroughly refreshed and ready to take on new challenges. Oh, I didn't get anything from... This is all... stuff. Okay, nothing from... having a bath with Argenta, no? What the hell is this? Did I have that before? I don't think so. I think Darius was there before. Malediction of Manois. Lost 5 willpower. Okay. That's new, that wasn't there before. Everything else is as before, so that must be new. Let's see if that lasts forever or it's just a one-off. Oh, is that something I picked up maybe? The water's calm and murmurs and the warm steam feel inexplicably deceptive. A moment of weakness. And the rest promises nothing but danger. Okay, well, that was a nice interlude. I wonder if does Argenta get it as well? She does not get the buff. She left before we could do anything though. Maybe you can do it slightly different order, so do the rest and relaxation afterwards. But then again, the companion might always leave. Let's carry on. Nearly 8 minutes in. All I've done is have a bath. Okay, let's visit Trinitos. Go to my list of things to do. Find Trinitos. There it is. Oh, pirates. Plastic 07. The place so lifeless. Contemplating it brings me indescribable calm. I will preserve its memory for my meditations. 7 plasteel. We do get shit tons of it. I've only got 2 extractiums. Let me write in plasteel times 7. I guess I need it some time soon-ish. Can I squeeze past there? Come down here. Nothing there. I got 10. Now I can give the planetary data to Opticon 22. Next time I'm there. Oh, now she's popped up there. Why did that? Strange. I think to get Foulstone, which is this, there's a colony you can found here. Maybe I have to defeat these ships. Or can I sneak in the back? Because taking these ships out at the moment it's going to be a bit tough. Lord Captain, we've received a transmission from Falstone. It was summoned by members of the Order of the Hammer, votaries of St. Cognatius. His monastery is the only settlement on the planet. Or rather, it used to be. Some time ago, a transport vessel, the Narvika, unloaded several thousand refugees from a planet belonging to rogue trader Winterscale. The Order of the Hammer has judged this invasion to be an act of aggression and is asking for your lordship's protection. These people are victims, not invaders. I know for this outcome there is a heretical outcome, which is to burn the whole planet. And you get loads of rewards for it. But you miss out on all the projects. You do get some items as well. I'm not sure if it's the best items you can choose from. It become clear as I start doing projects. Some of them give you options like this to choose from. Different items. And the heresy option in this bit here. Oh, I've saved it, haven't I? I'll just go through and do the heresy option. And then I can always reload it and do proper option. These people are victims, not invaders. Prepare my shuttle. I shall head to the planet and resolve this conflict. 11 days after the feast of the passing of Nicodemus Keith, the champion of faith, disquietude marred the calm. So 131 days, okay. Disquietude marred the calm of the monastery of the Order of the Hammer. Countless tortured souls steeped in fear arrived on Falstone and the Starbark. A great apostasy had befallen their home and turned them into abject wanderers seeking help and refuge. Their wicked and cruel captain, the owner of the Narvika, had betrayed them. Once the unknown souls in his care had made landfall on the world's surface, he most deviously recalled his shuttles and left, thus ridding himself of his duty of care to an unfortunate lot. When we were in footfall, Bladedancer says the Narvika tried to dock there and he turned them on, moved them on kind of thing. Not knowing how they would survive in Falstone's grim wastelands, the forsaken people came to the monastery of St. Cognatius, and there they surrounded its walls. They hammered their fists on its gate and implored and wailed, "Take us in, protect us." And what was once a place of serenity and grace was now full of din, disorder, and all manner of things despicable. The interlopers brought with them worldly futility and strife, and mayhap also the seeds of allure and blasphemies, if fiendly heathens lurked in their midst. After prayer, the prelate Hectarchius turned his eye to the past in search of instruction. Prelate Hectarchius recalled the first missionaries to set foot on Falstone's vast wasteland, led by their zeal for serving St. Cognatius, and those missionaries had received the blessings of Nicodemus Keith, the champion of faith who had travelled with them in their starbark. They found in this place a humble and pure abode wherein to cultivate wisdom and piety. And St. Cognatius, a man of great endeavours, a warrior and wise artificer, never cowered behind the walls of a librarium, but stepped bravely into the darkness, carrying light in the palm of his hand, and he commanded others to do the same. Not only Falstone, but many other worlds in the Koronus Expanse bear its imprint. And Prelate Hectarchius did welcome the interlopers warmly as his guests, but he did warn his brethren to keep their vigilance. The brethren and sisters of the Order of the Hammer came forth to meet the strangers, carrying water and protein victuals and medicinal herbs and jugs of promethium. But the crowd came to blows over viands and blood was spilt, and many were trampled or mauled in the stampede, and some of them dwellers of the monastery. Then the warriors of the Order of the Hammer donned their flak cowls, inscribed words of praise to the God Emperor on their tactical visors, and went forth, ready to render service in battle. With the lasguns and bolters they pierced the interlopers, with their chainsaws and power flows they struck them. A great and bloody harvest was reaped that day. and interlopers too, scant though their armament was, and scant their skill in battle, slew many among the monastery's dwellers, for great were their numbers and greater their desperation. The monks fled beyond the walls, and rang the vox alarum, and shut the gate, and commanded the armed guards to keep watch over the gate, slaying any who approached. A quarrel broke out. The hungry and the sick lay siege to the monastery, begging for their help. In their spite, they blocked the water collector, unpowered the janitorium. The faithful, in the meantime, made ready to resist. And a miracle came to pass. The God Emperor sent his champion, his confidant, his right hand. Yeah, that's what you get. You get Epiphany, Infernical, the Hammer of Epiphany, and the Accuser of Sin. Which is meh. The Iconoclast, you get 1 people. Dogmatic, get nothing. Let's summon the Prelate Autarchus, and the leaders of the interlopers to hold each to account for their deeds. Has this changed now? No. Buff effect of 15 as well for heretical. Nothing really changes though. The strangers, prodigious in number, beseech the rogue trader to take them in and give them shelter and protection as to his own servants. And spake they, saying, Long have we wandered, swiftly have we fled, many a woe and ordeal has befallen us. Of many a father and son we are bereft. Now the warp hath taken our last of our strength, and we shall flee no more. And they spake further, saying, Without thy holy protection we are doomed, for we fear annihilation at the hands of our kin who remain behind. For having fallen away from the sublime light of the Emperor, they have descended into bloody sedition, and become murderers of no mercy. Quoth Prelate Autarchus, Ours is a pure and secluded abode. By worldly futility we are untouched, and so we wish to remain. These unknowing souls seek to capture our abode. Avert this calamity of ours, for they are a people malicious and multitudinous and misfated. Then quoth he, If it be thy wish to confer land upon these wretches, confer it, for Foulstone has arid land in abundance. But make it not our duty to care for them, for that is not our path. Provide for them and provide for us, and we shall acknowledge thee as our planetary sovereign. Right, let's do the heretical one, see what happens, just to come to show you. Then I'll reload. You get 5 times holy gifts, heretical plus 30, and we get those items. And so was changed furthermore the life of the monastery of the Order of the Hammer and his brethren. Having waged a great battle and plundered mercilessly, the rogue trader claimed his wicked harvest and departed Foulstone with never a backward look. So, it's gone. And doesn't really do much because I already was rank 2. But now I'm a third of the way through there. It's... I mean, you get the items. Where is it? Epiphany. It's okay. Hammer of Epiphany. Is it much difference to what he's currently got? No, not really. Does extra damage if you shove them, and slightly extra damage but less armor penetration. And the AP is the same? Yeah. It's not even cheaper to use. What else was there? Any armor? No. What's she wearing now? Why is she not wearing that? Did she take it off? That's strange. What else did I get? Accuser of Sin. The charge ability deals additional damage equal to the wearer's willpower bonus against demons and Xenos. Well, that's only a couple of people that can use that, I think. Doesn't your sword give you a charge? Crimson Rage? No. I can suffer a quarter of my damage, my wounds, to regain 1 AP. Can be used multiple times per turn as long as the wielder has at least 50% wounds. I have 1 AP, but doesn't mean I can have extra attacks. Well, that was the Accuser of Sin anyway. That's all you get. It's a nice boost to heresy, but you can't ever develop that into a planet and a colony. So I don't think it's worth it, because you miss out on all these and profit factor from developing it. So let's develop it. I'll skip through to there again. Okay. This is just the same. Summon them to here, so I'm exactly the same place now. We will get 1 person. Extend develop protection over the interlopers, taking into his care and thereby all of Foulstone with them. Icon class +5. Got a new colony. Humbly the Order of the Hammer heeded the God Emperor's confident and unsealed the airlocks and opened the gate of its abode and brought forth gifts of virtue to relieve the suffering of the ill-stricken. After a prayer, the architects set to work, in accordance with the saints' teachings and the parameters set forth in the standard template construct. They erected spacious living quarters and sturdy fort walls for the planetary militia, and a spacious auditorium wherein to trade and store goods, and a proud censorum within whose walls clerks and servo bondsmen would maintain order and keep statistical records. And a new, yet righteous way of life came to Foulstone, and the people rejoiced, and all was good. So now we have this. If you go heretical, you lose all this. And you lose all this. And there's the Infernical one. Okay, what do I want here? These are mutually exclusive. You only have one of these 3. The Shield of Faith, +30 Prow, Shield Sector. Get Holy Gifts, extra profit factor, and complacency goes up. That goes up with security, and we get +5 critical hit chance against chaos enemies. And here we get Drusian reputation, profit factor, and efficiency, holy gifts, and a flamer. I mean, it's an iffy flamer at best. I mean, it does a lot of damage, but only fires in a stream, doesn't do the AoE attack. What do I want? I probably want either that or that. Get holy gifts there and there as well. And bow sector is kind of like, might be worth it. I'm not too sure though. 30% front. It might help. Then again, 5 crit chance. Most people have been running on 100% crit anyway soon. Or close to it. So yeah, I'll go for this. Get a stronger shield on the front. That will take time now. I think that time is reduced. And they've got the rank 2 things we can do now. I think Bonfires of Righteousness is a really good one. It needs lots of things. The Xenotech is what held me up last time, I think. And that's where you get Epiphany from. Which is the ones we could have got. But a lot of other ones we can do as well. Like Fellowship of the Void rep. That's pretty good as well. For me, with my willpower being Psyker. Blocks Cemetery of the Faithful, which is that one. Extra Evasion and Drusian rep. And this is for all colonies, plus 1 complacency. Again, you need 22,000 or explorators. Okay. But yeah, there's lots of things here that would miss out on. Because we just went straight up heretical and lost access to all this. That's my choice anyway. The efficiency, complacency and security. Some of them are important to start off with. Some of them not. Over time they'll all probably hit 10. Amount of resources, that's these up here, produced for each point, and when you get to 10 you'll be double what they produce, and it gets produced by things that happen here and choices you make. Complacency is the speed, increasing and decreasing them by 10% for each point of complacency respectively. So how long they take. And security, it's like it says, the ability to cope with negative events on its own. At the start you'll be constantly called back to these colonies to deal with stuff. You'll have events over here which you have to interact with and choose an option. As you get further on, you get called back less and less. Okay. So now I have a Foulstone colony. Save that. And if I go to the ship, the prow shield should be higher. Yeah, the prow's at the front. Shed plus 30. Well, that's when it's finished. It's not finished yet. I did pick up a prow battery. No, I think I'll stay with the lance weapon and the torpedo tubes. It's the same as this, but for the prow. It can't be used here. Oh. Shields. Speed. And that. Okay. What's that done? Let's move on. Where are we recording wise? 28 minutes. Okay. That's Trinitas. This is so much faster than before, I think. Maybe, maybe not. Let's go to Omicron. Permission to report, Lord Captain. I keep receiving messages about strange behaviours in certain ship systems. All dogs report the uncontrollable opening and closing of doors, gates and airlocks. They behave erratically and do not obey the operator's commands. Regrettably, this has led to casualties among the crew. The tech priests have explained that these phenomena are being caused by the machine spirit's irascibility, and spent hours chanting litanies to soothe their anger. Fortunately, many crew members were badly injured before the prayers could stabilize the systems. Lord Captain, I hasten to report the disturbing news brought to me by the machine spirits of the ship. The matter is extremely delicate and concerns Lady Cassia. You see, since the first day aboard, her presence has been a disturbance to the crew's way of life. If you'll allow, I've prepared a detailed report. Deliver your report. The first incident occurred immediately after our departure from York 5. The Lady Navigator chastised one of the ship's runners, after which he went to his living quarters, killed his family, and then shot himself. The second incident was noted while traversing the warp. The Lady Navigator gave the pilots the wrong instructions, and the voidship was thrown off course, for a matter of minutes, but this was enough for the forces of the Imperium to anger the machine spirits enough for them to start a fire in the service bay. After that, the officers living near the Lady Navigator's quarters began to express extreme emotions: hysteria, apathy, euphoria, rage. This is quite detrimental to crew morale and performance. The last incident was recorded on Footfall. Around 100 living birds were delivered on board during our stay on Footfall. Each bird cost a hefty sum, but I failed to discover the purpose and subsequent fate. I was also told about conflict between the Lady Navigator and the Seneschal. Alas, for no details. If you like, you can ask Master Berserian directly. Things were even worse with J. Hidari. I intercepted a boxcast in which she promised she would, and I quote, end that Cassia, if she ever saw her again. If I may, Lord Captain, the Lady Navigator's state of mind worries me. She is self-contained and does not mesh with the crew at all, which is why everyone avoids her. Even senior officers can be superstitious. I fear that only you are in a position to talk to her on equal footing and improve the situation, for the sake of the crew's safety and that of Lady Cassia herself. Okay. Every time you do that, you get a each one another one of these insights, and it costs 1 to jump. For instance, if I go to here, I can make a new one straight from here to here for 3, and it'll be deadly. You can then reduce the danger level by spending more. The higher it is, the more likely you're going to get attacked mid-jump by chaos demons, cultists, Drukhari, plenty of other things. But it's not such a bad thing. Maybe deadly at this low level might be a bit much. Horde of demons might be a bit too much for the party. But it's really good experience and good equipment to sell. Okay, let's go and talk to people. Ablard, Jai, and then was it just Cassia on her own, or was it other people? And looks like Cassia won't be the waifu this one, because Cabela kind of jumped in there, literally. Right, Ablard's right next to us.
Lord Captain.
Oh, I can talk about many things. I hear you and Cassia exchanged words recently. What happened?
And who brought this piece of news to you, I wonder? Then again, I have nothing to hide from you. Of late, the helmsmen have been going off course with increasing frequency, and the reports are full of contradicting accounts. The problem continued, even after several demotions were handed out, so I took it upon myself to investigate.
Well, Cassia did say that the warp storms that we're travelling through have scattered all the routes and made navigation a lot more difficult. So I'm thinking maybe she had to take drastic maneuvers or something in the middle of a jump, or some kind of travel.
I was astonished to learn that our Lady Navigator has been amending entries in the ship's log, and the officers have been keeping silent on her orders. I immediately demanded an end to the outrageous conduct, and I reprimanded Lady Cassia in front of the officers. She greeted my words with silence, and then quickly departed. I should not have acted thus. I never even found out what drove her to do it.
I have discovered that there are caches left by Theodora somewhere on Koronus and Kiava Gamma. Do you know anything about this?
It is wise for a rogue trader to have caches where they can safely store important information. And utterly unwise to share the coordinates of such caches with anyone. Even one's most trusted associates.
The shadow of a sad smile appears and immediately vanishes from the seneschal's face.
I'm afraid I do not know how to find the caches, but I can offer some help. Your predecessor used this numeric code to deactivate certain defense systems in her service. If I know Lady Theodora as well as I think, then I'm quite certain that she left her caches well guarded. In that case, this code will be useful to you.
He holds out the data slate. Okay. Not something new.
Lord Captain.
We can have this discussion another time.
Lord Captain.
Used to hearing that, like, Lord Captain, Lord Captain, Lord Captain, Lord Captain. Yeah, that happens a lot. Right, Jai is up here. She was our last waifu.
Allow me to thank you again for helping me with the cargo, Shireen. I am sure the Ashmags who squirreled away my goods won't give up so easily, and I'll hear more about their scheming yet. Let's strike a deal, Shireen. I will watch your back, if you do me a favor and watch mine. Well, enough jokes. Is there something you wanted?
Was there some business you wished to discuss?
Oh, Shireen, I did manage to spark your interest. Allow me to invite you to a more private place. My words are meant for your ears alone.
Oh, damn it. Her face lights up with an enchanting smile. I say damn it because that means I've got to do a lot more talking now. Oh, it's all black. Press F. There we go. The flickering light of dozens of candles plays across Jai's face, making her smile. Small smile appear even more mysterious. Shireen, the Exalted One himself, brought us together the day you crossed Vladame's threshold. He led us to the cargo and gave his blessing for its return. Do you know what people in my world say when such a thing happens? What's gained is to be shared with your neighbour. Oh, nice. She points at the containers in front of her. One contains a polished Eldari rifle, a rare model. The other holds an ornate sword. I'm sharing what I've gained with you. Please accept these humble gifts in honour of our wildly successful, though suddenly struck, friendship. A truly wonderful gift. I accept it. That could be useful, actually. Oh, it's the one that's only got dead eyes. It's not bad, though. Truly wonderful gift. I accept it with gratitude. I'm thinking, shall I get Jukabi weaponry from me or not? Probably not. Not yet, anyway. I knew you would appreciate the Xenos mastery of the craft. Jai beams at you, curling out a lock of black hair around her augmented finger. After a brief pause, she awkwardly continues, So, the matter I want to discuss with you is related to my business. You know that I sell Xeno artifacts to interested Imperial subjects, and Imperial trinkets to Xenos. Business is going well. My network runs even without my participation. But when it comes to expansion, well, that's when I hit a wall. Rivals envious of my success, Jai throws up a hand, Falco especially. I'm certain the theft of the cargo was his doing. But I can never predict what the Ashmag will do next. And while the Imperium's authority may be fragmented in the Expanse, it could crack down on people of my profession at any moment. Go on. If the rogue trader put in a good word for me with the servants of the Adeptus Administratum, I could become an official trade representative of the Imperium. Just imagine it. A little scrap of paper will offer me and my agents protection against Ashmag schemes. Far better than any refractor field. And even the Inquisition will have to think twice before they mess with me, because I'll be a representative of the law in my own right. And the best part of this, it will cost you precisely nothing, Shireen. All you have to do is stop by the Ministratum Palace and obtain a certificate from the Master of Seals. My informants tell me that the palace is located in Argonus, your capital world. You see how everything has aligned so wonderfully? And of course, I will repay you in kind. How do I benefit from your gaining official status? Because I have been received of my eternal gratitude, Shireen. She playfully raises a brow. Won't it be beneficial to have someone in your retinue with a weight of authority behind them, rather than just another pawn? One slip of paper, and now I will be able to extend my network to systems far beyond footfall. My agents will be your eyes and ears throughout the expanse. That sounds simple enough. I will help you. Exalted One bless you, Shireen. I couldn't find a better business partner in all the expanse. Jai ponders for a moment, then graces you with a dazzling smile. Friendship is a gift from the Exalted One, and we must cherish it. And you will have no complaints about our friendship, Shireen. I may not be a trade representative of the Imperium just yet, but I can still help you with whatever you need. You must have some faction in mind that we'd like to establish relations with. The severe Drusians, the hot-headed pirates of the Casbalica. You merely need to use the right words, like a key for a lock, and people will open their hearts to you, or their wallets. I will arrange everything. You merely have to ask. Oh, we get free rep. Get the Adeptus. Maybe. Because the Casbalica, we don't need anything yet. We haven't got the profit factor. Yeah, let's get the Adeptus Mechanicus. They're the partners I need now. Not a problem, Shireen. I love my people putting a good word for you in the right circles. I will humbly wait until you steer your vessel towards Argonus. The Mercatum Tabula Officiale. It sounds almost majestic as the warrant of trade. Okay, that's on Argonus. Lord Captain's personal cogitator. No, it's that. It's the backers and stuff. What can we put in here? Doesn't make much difference actually, because this doesn't take up any weight or anything. I've already done that. Yeah, I've already done it. Quite a few episodes ago. Okay. Now let's talk to Jai about Cassia. Is it this way? Yes. Come on. This way.
May the Exalted One protect you. Have you grown bored without our little talk, Shireen?
She flashes you a welcome smile, rolling a coin across the knuckles of her augmented fingers. I heard you had a falling out with Cassia. You even threatened to kill her.
So, Vigdis is snooping in on my Vox line. I wasn't threatening your navigator. I didn't even think about it. I was just relaxing in the good company of fragrant Amasak, sweet-scented Laho, and a handful of new friends from the upper decks. And right in the middle of the fun, the Lady Navigator swoops in and starts jabbering about how her head is about to split from the cacophony of colors coming from our cabin. Long story short, Shireen, I had the misfortune of getting a taste of what your officers have been going on about. They say when the Arcelio girl becomes upset, everyone in the vicinity loses their minds and is overtaken by Agi. And it hurt like anything. I can only remember everyone huddling in a corner, wailing like klaxons. As for Cassia, I think Cassia was flustered by the state of our clothes, which were very meager back then, as you understand. Before I could get my bearings, the poor thing was gone. The whole situation was awkward. As for the threats, they were addressed to one of the girls I'd been foolish enough to invite to our little party. That Cassia used the confusion to pilfer a full pouch of Le Hope from under my nose.
And that's what was overheard. And Jai having an orgy, and Cassia just stormed into it. That's bad form. Very rude of Cassia. I'll see you later.
Oh, I have no doubt you will.
She laughs and bids you a farewell with a wink. Okay. I can't do that one yet. That's... oh god. Okay. While I'm here, I'll talk to Idira. I might talk to her to trigger her first quest step. I'm not sure. The tall, middle-aged woman stares straight ahead, her eyes vacant. She rubs the implant at the temple. Her collar is undone, and one of the clasps is on the verge of falling off. Sensing your presence, Idira turns her head to you and offers you a crooked smile, even as her eyes look right through you. Idira, about your abilities.
What are you talking about, Lord Captain?
With a noticeable effort, she focuses her eyes on you and lets out a nervous laugh. Never mind.
Right you are, Lord Captain. And enough worrying about me, all right?
She tucks her fingers in a nervous gesture before releasing her hands with a sigh. Okay. I'm a Psyker too. I'm sanctioned, she's not. That's why Argenta hates her. You seem to have a very strong reaction to what Argenta said by the broken lens.
It was just my nerves playing up. Something about our little saint doesn't sit right with me, and I trust my gut. Oh sure, she seems straight as an arrow and as predictable as a hangover after drinking. But when I look at her, something about her makes my brain itch.
She frowns and continues more seriously.
After that conversation, I tried to listen to what was being said about her. Beyond the door, what I heard was strange. Blood in her past, twilight in her present, and something like a star leading her. But where is it leading her? I saw several roads, and all of them frightened me.
Blood in her past. Wow, she did say that. Twilight in her present. Well, Conrad Voitvir was Brother Twilight. That was his code name. And the star leading her is the one star, which is Saint Argenta's relic? Okay. What does it all mean?
If I knew, I would have told you.
Sorry.
Hearing things clearly requires cooperation from the other person, you know. But that cobra just hisses and spits its venom at me. I don't trust her one bit.
Do you think I should keep an eye on her?
It certainly wouldn't hurt. I'll keep a watch on her too. If only I knew what it meant. Maybe it means danger for her. Or maybe danger coming from her.
Where do you come from?
Lyra, an outlying world in the Heathen Stars region. In the Koronus Expanse, the deeper you go, the less visible the Astronomicon gets, and the less people know about the Imperium. The arrival of a rogue trader is the best thing that can happen to a world like that. The very best.
The Heathen Star, that's a long way away. That's a long way away indeed. Tell me about Lyra.
It's an out-of-the-way planetoid between two faint stars. On Lyra, a dozen local tyrants fight over 5 measly continents. But they use everything they can to win, from poison to psychers. I haven't been there in many years, but there's nothing for me to miss. Trust me.
She begins wringing her, shaking hands. That must be fucking abysmal. Wow.
But here on the ship is a different story altogether. I saw more wonders in my first year serving Lady von Valancius than I'd seen in my whole life on Lyra. Like my first journey through the warp, I was in bed for 3 days. I felt like supernovas were exploding in my head. I only found out later that I'd gotten off easy. Just through the bulkhead in the bay next to mine, a whole team turned into... Look at me rambling on, Lord Captain. Pay no attention.
Yeah, and Argenta has mentioned that a couple of times. What did you do before you came to be on the ship?
Oh, I embroidered wall hangings in honor of our national heroes. I did the same thing I do here, Lord Captain. Divining. Our rulers prized the ability to see into the future. Every Psyker that could be found was worth a small fortune on Lyra. There's no such thing as a peaceful life on Lyra. People like me were especially sought after. They'd pick Psykers up wherever they found them, buy kids off their parents, even just abduct them. Take me, for instance. I got taken from my street gang. The older kids sold me when they noticed there was something off about me. The ruling dynasties had schools where they trained us and beat us black and blue. And then they packed us off to serve. Some of us held on for a long time, but others didn't last. Not everyone's as smart and talented as me, you know. Some people crossed the line and were out of commission before their time.
Idira looks at you expectantly. Then, as though clarifying, she uses her hands to indicate her head exploding and laughs. How did you end up in the rogue trader's service?
Theodora von Valancius paid a visit to the ruler I was serving at the time. I don't know what the visit was for, and it's no business of mine anyway. I can still remember the way the voices in my head changed when I looked at her. They were practically screaming. She had so much behind her, and plenty ahead of her too. As I gawped at her, all of a sudden I heard a whisper. A hint, a suggestion, nothing more. But I know the difference between idle chatter and a real threat. I seized my chance and approached Theodora. I managed to whisper a couple of words in her ear before the wardens dragged me away. They beat me and locked me up. No wonder. It wasn't my place to converse with outsiders. And then Theodora's people came for me. They broke down the wall, butchered the guards. Also, I could tell them my warning in full. So I said the rest, but I didn't want to go back to my old life. And so I entered the service of the von Valancius dynasty.
Well, it does seem like Theodora recognizes, or was good at recognizing talent when she was presented with it. Wasn't afraid to take it. Because she is a rogue trader. Second only to, or equal to the Grand Inquisitor of the area. In power, prestige, reputation, and privilege. Have you ever been off the ship?
A few times. Not many. And if I think about it, why would I want to? I've got everything I need here. All the whispers I hear are familiar ones. They almost feel like family. And if I want to hear about the nightmares off the ship, I can, after some Amisec. But don't go getting the wrong idea. If I have to, I'll follow you to the edge of the galaxy.
We'll do that later. About finishing the story. Let's talk about something else.
Of course, Lord Captain.
What's it like being a Psyker? Well, I'm one too.
You could ask yourself that question, eh, Lord Captain?
She looks at me with derision. Not surprised. Stupid question.
Every Psyker feels their connection with the warp in their own way. One person might see spots and shadows out of the corner of their eye. Another feels fingers running down their spine. As for me, I've got a door in my head. One that's open just a crack. There's no way to close it, no matter how hard I try. I've just had to get used to the whispers from the other side. When I need to use it for work, I listen in more closely. But I usually just try not to notice it.
How do you live with this whispering in your head?
Training, habit, and a little amasec and a couple other things you can get on the lower decks. If you put all those together, it makes things bearable. Sometimes I even wonder if I'm imagining half the voices I hear. You know, when life on board gets a little boring. Better than listening to the living, anyhow.
Good point. What would happen if your door burst open?
Well, if the door opens, that means somebody's planning to come in, right? But screw them. They're not coming through. Trust me. I know how to keep my valuable head locked up tight.
Aren't you afraid of losing control?
Only losers who are afraid of their own gift lose control. Or idiots who never figure out what they are before it's too late. Or little kids who want to play around with their shiny new toy. If you don't know the limits of your abilities, or you're always bouncing around in your own head, that's a recipe for disaster.
That is sage advice indeed. Can you see my future?
All right. That's what I'm here for, after all. So, I'm just going to lean on that door in my head a little more, prick up my ears, and listen to what the warp's got to say about you. If you'll allow it, I can listen right now.
Idira wrinkles her nose and looks around, and then she wipes her hands, gives her head a shake, and finally nods. She grins like she's already heard some salacious detail. Sure.
All right. Let's hear what they're whispering about you.
She rubs her hands together, suddenly freezes with a vacant smile on her face. Her head slightly tilted. You feel goosebumps appear on your skin, and your collar begins to waver, ever so slightly, as if moved by a breeze from a half-open door.
Another road. The road begins at the threshold of the expanse and leads to the bowels of the emerging world. Reading the threads of fate is not meant for you, slave of the enthroned corpse. Step into the embrace of doom, for thus was it preordained by the architect of fates.
He turns grey and begins gasping for breath. A foreign voice tears its way out of her rasping throat, the deep heavy rumbling of a distant avalanche.
That wasn't me. I swear on everything that's holy. I don't know what the second road is or who watches over it, but I beg you, stay away from it.
She sucks in her breath and coughs. Something pale and wriggling flies out of her mouth and hits the floor. White maggots that immediately melt and turn to smoke. Wow, that's rough. Okay. Did you know Theodora von Valancia as well?
None of the officers knew the Lord Captain well. Not even Abelard, and she was always closer to him than anyone else. She told me from the off that if I ever listened to anything in the warp about her without her permission, I'd be going out through the airlock. I'm not an idiot, so I never stuck my nose where it didn't belong. Only when I was asked. It's hard to wrap my head around the fact that she's gone. Lady von Valancius gave me everything I have. She opened the stars to me and the paths between them. I still think I can hear her voice.
Her eyes darken and a strange, otherworldly expression comes over her face. She lets out a sharp breath and shakes her head. Things are strained between you and Argenta, isn't that right?
The little sister is afflicted with her own set of voices, ones that whisper to her about corruption and heresy. The silly girl doesn't realize that if she wants to find the source, she needs to start by looking in her own head.
Yes. I have learned that there were caches left by Theodora somewhat on Koronus and Gamma. Do you know anything about this?
Me? Not a clue, Lord Captain. I don't know who Lady Theodora would have told about a thing like that, but it definitely wasn't me. Why would you whisper that to me now? Why?
She breaks off, appearing to listen to something. Grief passes over her face like a shadow.
Lord Captain, I don't know anything about caches or Lady Theodora's secrets, but the voices have just reminded me about something. I was once given the chance to try some real wine. Lady Theodora gave me some. Not just any old synthetic booze, but her favorite plonk. She always drank it in her palace. It was golden in color, and its name was Flame of Purity. A silly name, but the flavor was so intense, and like nothing I'd ever tasted before or since. Apologies. It's probably not important, but I don't know anything more than that.
Okay, Flame of Purity wine. I must take my leave.
Of course. Always at your service. Whenever you need me.
Right, Flame of Purity wine, and there was some music that we heard. Where was it? Oh, let's just talk to Heinrich. I'll do that another time. Okay. You Bella have anything to say about our tryst? No, you're just going to stab yourself.
Domin,
Okay.
may the Undying One shroud your footsteps from the faithless.
Okay. So I talked to Jai. Let's talk to Janice Stanrock. See if he knows anything about Cassia. No. Okay. Let's talk to Cassia then. Oh, all the bridge people. Let's go down here. See if he knows anything about. No, you don't. About the caches. I didn't think he would. Right then, Cassia.
Words cannot describe how boring the bridge is without our stimulating conversations.
She offers you a reserved smile and waves at you in greeting. I've heard rumours you're not getting along well with the crew. Panic flashes in her ruby red eyes, and your heart starts beating a little faster where your hands go cold. She's going to want to talk about it somewhere else.
Not here.
Yeah.
I'm begging you. Aren't noblemen supposed to discuss such things away from the servants?
And that wasn't a difficult willpower test, but it is one you can fail. I think by default you'll have 30, so you could end up with 80 or 85, depends on debuffs. Let's go to my study. No one disturb us there.
Then lead the way, and I will answer all of your questions.
What is it you wanted to talk about, Lord Captain? I have nothing to say to your unfounded accusations about my conflicts with the crew. I cannot recall my having a single quarrel with any of your people during my entire time on board. You've been willfully changing entries in the ship's logbook. Forbidden officers were important to Abelard. I beg to differ. I've read numerous books on Astra Nataris and can swear on House of Celio's honour that your officers are entering data in complete contravention of regulation. False terms, random distances between lines, spelling mistakes in even the simplest of words. I've spent the last few cycles correcting the latest log entries. I thought it would please Master Abelard, as he is so fond of order. And yet the Seneschal did not appreciate my efforts, and for some reason called them an outrage, even though mere days before he had been swaddling me in warm yellow words. I noticed all your people do this when they're expressing sympathy, and many wanted to repay the Seneschal with the same courtesy. Perhaps he finds my friendliness off-putting. And he didn't give you a chance to explain either. Okay. You must have had quite the falling out with Jai. She is threatening to kill you. Well, she wasn't, because we talked to Jai. Cassia's ruby eyes come round with an unbidden flush that suffuses her pale face with a rosy tint. I didn't. That is our private business. The issue was between me and Lady Jai. Lord Captain, please pay no heed. We made our peace long ago. I will have you know, no one threatened me. Your information is incorrect. The messenger you rebuked butchered his own family and then killed himself. I haven't rebuked a single Araboid on the ship. Cassia ponders this for a moment. I think I remember. A kind young man with a shy smile and skillful fingers, with too much rotten ochre on his shoulders. I grew tired of the disgusting colour and advised him to lighten his burden by casting the weight off his shoulders. He did not come the next day, or ever again. During the warp voyage, you gave the wrong orders, which led to the vessel shifting off course and the service bay being destroyed. I saw something in the warp, something vast, predatory, shimmering with indescribable colours. It came from nowhere and stared at the ship with hundreds of hungry eyes, right there in our path. I decided to change the course while it was still possible, but did not want to sow panic. Would it have been better to tell the crew we were heading straight into a monster's gaping maw? No, you're right. The officers are reluctant to be quartered next to your chambers because of the constant emotional outburst it causes them. Some even maim themselves and others. I already told you I can't control my abilities. What else do you want from me? Will I be assigned a pariah chaperone? Or will you put me in suppression shackles? A pariah is like a blank to psychic and warp influence. For instance, they can't be controlled by Psykers. They're immune to any kind of warp influence. They're usually very, very rare. And usually very short-lived. Once the Inquisition gets hold of them. Because that's what usually happens. Would you mind telling me why you need 100 species of bird and what you use them for? Admittedly, I am at loss myself. The day we arrived on Footfall, I sent a request to the ship's quartermaster and asked him to get me a single songbird, but he never asked for clarification, and shortly before we left, I had a countless number of cages delivered to me, all wrapped up in bright red panic, with flickering tints of fear. There was a bird in every one. I was so excited. I thought I would have 100 new friends instead of just one. They were squeaking so piteously I let the poor things out. I even fed them with my breakfast and dinner. But the stupid birds would not stop chittering even after bedtime. They were dashing about the room, smacking me in the face with their wings, and defecating. I became angry, and suddenly they started pecking at each other's eyes and attacking me. Then I became afraid, and they fell over dead. I do not think I want to keep pets anymore. She is so psychopathic. But it seems to be... She's aware of her effect on others and animals, obviously. And maybe she is trying to hold it in, but these emotional outbursts don't seem to be very restrained at all. But the way she looks at things like the birds have not stopped chittering even after bedtime, and defecating and flying around, well, that's what birds do. It's like you don't see them outside of what they're supposed to be in your perception. And the psychopath builds a perception of reality, and everything must fit into that perception of reality. Like this. I think I've heard enough. Will you share your thoughts with me? Wonder what that would do to Abelard and Jai. I think this is the better one. You have a kind soul, but have difficulty reaching out to people. I could teach you the art of communication if you like. That would be wonderful. My education on York 5 was cut short, but I'd realised by then that the wisdom of books is a poor substitute for the wisdom of experience. Very well. Since we're done with this misunderstanding, I would like to change the subject. It would only be fair for me to ask you a few questions now, wouldn't it? Cassia hesitates, then continues in a less confident tone. Do not mistake me. I'm not going to accuse you of anything. It's just that you're the most worthy interlocutor on the entire ship, and you are all so busy. Interlocutor. What would you like to ask? I read a treatise by Pacius de Mobius very recently, who claimed that subjects would never believe their new ruler was better than the old one, unless the old one had been a tyrant. No matter the circumstances, the low-born rabble become deluded about their prospects and rebel in favour of the base desires. What do you make of that? Oh, so this is... Oh, other people are doing it for me. Good. It's just Jai doing all the things. Wow. That is very, very low. Maybe this dictates her story, how she ends up. Your interpretation of this classical text is not entirely correct. If the subjects have grown accustomed to the ruling house, all the sovereign must do is refrain from breaching long-standing traditions. Adjust the unwanted laws as gradually as you would shift the bed of a flooded river, and no one ever takes your power from you. Cassia thinks for a moment and then smiles. Indeed, I was not wrong about your merits, or your ability to hold a conversation. I hope my second question does not confound you either. According to the 20 terms penned by the preacher Oistak Istefan the Forgotten, mercy and cruelty go through the world hand in hand, but people flock only to one pan of the scales. Would you rather inspire fear in your followers, or be magnanimous and choose awe? Oh, I'm terrible with this because of fellowship. That's also +5, rather than... Why are they all +5s? This is the only one I've got a decent chance of. One must be a tyrant, a friend, and a jester to one's subjects. What matters is that they clearly discern which role is required at each given moment. Oh, succeeded. Nice. There's so much power in your words, power that makes me want to join you. I understand now why your subjects are eager to follow you. I admit I was afraid we were too different, and yet you helped me realise that I can be candid with you. You've pushed me to a limit. Dismissed. Please do continue. I must confess that sometimes I can hardly bear the burden of house as placed upon me. I feel I'm not doing my best. Tell me how you, here to a protectorate, can bear the responsibility for billions of lives day after day and not stoop under all the weight. It's not always easy, but I try to lead the dynasty towards prosperity by worthy means. Thank you for your patience, Jellybobs. You're helping me see the world in different colours, a novel experience for me. Our conversations hold a special place in my heart. Allow me to bid farewell for now. I'm heading back to my chambers to consider today's conversation. Okay. Some more experience. So after those discussions, we're about a sixth of the way, fifth of the way through level 19. Okay. I'll try and get some dogmatic ranks, over though it's not that important for me, really. Okay, so that's that finished. Hopefully now, if there's any blockage for Idira's quest, I hope that's fixed. Okay. How long have we been recording? An hour 16. Wow, that's a lot of talk. So that's it for this episode. Thanks for watching, everyone. Next episode, we'll carry on flying around, discovering new things. Hopefully some ground-based things and some space battles. Thanks for watching. Until next time, bye for now.